Okay, so I wanted to show you kind of how this project worked. So this is a search engine using Pexels API, and I wanted to really understand the XML HTTP requests, and I didn't feel like I understood it when I learned it. I felt like there was something missing, but I didn't know what it was, and so what I've learned is the only way to really learn code, honestly, is building projects, getting stuck, and then solving it without help. And sometimes getting some help, it's like you have to know when you're crossing the line of whether you're getting too much help or not. Sorry, I had an audio out of sync on the. I recorded this before and my audio was out of sync. I forgot I had my headphones on. So the only way to know whether you have to know your own boundary line of whether you're getting too much help or not, right? So where I got stuck in this code. So again, I'll show you what it does real quick. If I type dog, dogs show up, right? Load more dogs show up. And then if I go back up here and I put in cat, whoops, I put a slash there too, but cats show up. If I load more cats show up, right? So this project was really fun. I wanted to work with animations in CSS and do something cool, which I did. And I'm not going to really talk about that because it's really not that hard to do. Where I actually got stuck was at this point. I had gotten the project on my own without any help, to the point where this was displayed. But what I didn't have was the ability to dynamically render the next page that I pulled from the Pexels API. And I tried a couple of different ways to do it, but I didn't have a fundamental understanding of how GET requests really work with authorization headers and all that. And so I got stuck on this project for a while. So if I go up here, I had 2 event listeners. I figured out that I needed 2 event listeners, and that was really what helped solve the problem. And then if you see here, what I did is I pulled out the function for event listeners that actually displayed the images on the screen so that I could just have this function right here, render HTML XHTTP. And I did that for both of them because I noticed that this shows up, all that data showed up twice. So anyway, so where I got stuck was I was trying to add this load more button event listener inside this original GET request, and I was stuck on it for a while. I was wondering, like, why isn't this working? I don't understand. And it was because I just fundamentally didn't have the right understanding of what I was doing on the GET request. And this, again, this is fundamentally super important to understand how to code, is that you like, for me at least, I don't know about everybody, but I can't learn by just watching someone do something because they know what they're doing. They're walking into it with foreknowledge of what they're doing. When you're walking into a project that you've never built before, you're going to hit roadblocks, and I hit lots of roadblocks, and it's only been in projects that I actually fundamentally learned the concepts. Like, I could redo this no problem because I did it on my own without any help. I even tried to get help, but I guess nobody seemed to have the same problem I was having, but it was all because I was using, I had a misunderstanding of XHTTP new requests and GET requests. So I'm not going to go into great detail, but where I was stuck was I was trying to add the event listener for this load more button inside the initial GET request, and that was creating an error, and I didn't understand why. And now, so what I did was I spent a lot of time debugging the code by logging this. I would log this XHTTP, and if you see down here, actually it's down here in the function. One of the things that I do is that I JSON parse it, right? I parse the response text. So, and I set that as content, right? So this data here is data.responseText, but really in the functions it's the XHTTP response text. So I'm pulling that through the API, and then I'm parsing it into an object, right? And then I kept looking through, finding different ways, and that's how I figured out how to get to content.photos and create an image array out of that and actually dynamically render the data. But I did not understand that with the GET request, I can do multiple GET requests and I can still hold the information. This filled in a huge gap of knowledge that was missing for me. So that was really fun. I actually had a good time with this project, and now I feel like I understand. I believe this was a RESTful API, I think, but at least I understand XHTTP requests, or XML HTTP requests, excuse me, and get requests with authorization headers. That was another thing. Now I actually understand what's going on with this function. So if I could redo it, I wouldn't have to copy the code from somewhere. I actually understand it. I wouldn't have to go, okay, well, what's that XML request? Because how I got this in the first place was I actually went to W3 Schools and I just pulled in their example, and I know that you put it within that ready state, the ready state change function. I know that you put your code in there. I don't have to copy the code anymore. I actually understand how it works, which is the whole purpose of a project, is to solidify the information that you might have a slight grasp on, but it's not a formal knowledge. So that process of learning something, right, maybe writing something, but knowing that you don't have the information is like you know you don't, if you know you don't have an intimate understanding of the concept that's going on here, or you can't reproduce it on your own without help. That's why projects are so helpful, at least for me. This has been it's been the same no matter what I was working on in learning JavaScript. If I didn't have a project to build to work on the fundamental knowledge or even advanced knowledge, I didn't really understand what I was doing. I might have conceptually gotten it. I get the gist of it. I know I could go build a project and I have to go through this process, but this is actually what solidifies the information. So anyways, that's about it. And I hope that was at least somewhat enjoyable. So working with APIs is pretty fun, and I'm definitely going to do some more of those in the future. So yeah.